2, 1. Welcome to the Lightforge. This is ADWCTA.
And this is Sunglitters. Hello.
Hey, welcome to the Lightforge Sunglitters.
Thank you.
This is the first time we've collabed on anything. We'll be doing a run after this, which will go on YouTube if you guys are listening and want to see a co-op. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your involvement in the arena community? I mean, I've known you as an expert arena streamer for like a few years now.
Yeah. So hi guys, I'm Sunglitters. I stream Arena almost every day, and I make the leaderboard almost every month so far. And yeah, it's been great. I love streaming. I love Arena. Love to be here. Hi.
Great. And you are from which country? I want to say Germany.
Yeah, I'm from Germany.
Yes.
It's like 5 minutes past midnight now.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much for making the time. We're operating here still on East Coast time, so everything's very difficult whenever we get someone from Europe over. Like I know Shady also dies every time we do any kind of collab.
It's gonna be fine.
Great. So, in the current meta, before we jump in, if you're listening to the Lightforge, you may be wondering, one, what the hell happened last week? Because there was no Lightforge podcast, and that's because I have moved from New York to Charlotte, and in this move, I got terribly sick. Like, we're talking like a week long, like food poisoning amounts of sick. Couldn't stand for like a whole day. Like, literally could not stand up. Terribly bad. And on top of that, I lost. Oh, I'm like. Checked luggage. I didn't lose it. I like literally like we saw the thief steal it, but we couldn't catch the thief. Like it was terrible. You guys should check out Reddit. We're gonna make a thread about it tomorrow and hopefully try to like get the thief to like respond to us on Reddit, and they'll still have some of our sentimental items that we can then buy back. That's a dream. That's like just hopefully this will happen, because really at this point it's like we're gonna get reimbursed, right, from the for the monetary value from the you know it was I'm not gonna say the flight company because I'm going to get it wrong. I don't even remember it. I don't want to say anything, but it's we got it stolen from us on the turn. Where you pick up the bags, right? And there's a giant turny thing. Yeah, like we saw it on there. We went to get the cart so we can pull it out, and then it was gone. And we have security footage of the guy. Yeah, I know exactly what this guy looks like. So we'll see. So that bag included all of my stream equipment, which means there's further delays for all of this. And we were supposed to get Taro on last week, so Taro will come back and do a Lightforge with us sometime in June. I don't know exactly when, because another announcement is that Merps will be back next week.
Next week?
Next week. Well, he'll be back on the Lightforge at least. I don't know about more than that, but he's committed for the Lightforge next week. So Sunglitters, you actually have the last like solo like Lightforge experience with me.
Awesome.
So that's my apology to the listeners and viewers out there about the Miss Lightforge and my explanation. I'm better now. My stream equipment is all upgraded, so you know everything should actually be better now.
Is this your first stream in the new place?
This is my second stream. I did a stream on Friday night, and it had like technical difficulties, and we were like setting up. Like I felt like a new streamer again. I'm like, does this work? How's this audio? But yeah, I have like a switch thing now for my microphone. Like it's not just a USB mic anymore. It has like line gain 1 and like weird wires that plug in. It's like an amp.
Oh, yeah, much better.
Yeah.
I don't know much about microphones, but it sounds good.
Yeah, I figure I've been doing this long enough, and I would just be depressed if I like had my mic stolen and then just gotten the same mic. So I'm like, I'm gonna upgrade. Okay, so back to things you guys care more about. The arena. We're gonna bury the exciting part to like halfway into the stream, which is that they've announced the new sets that are coming in, and GVG and Boomsday are in the same set, and they're both coming in. So putting that aside, let's start with the current meta, right? Like, let's just end. This is the last discussion we're gonna have on the current meta. And yeah, what success have you been finding in the current meta since the patch that was like, God, at this point, like 3 weeks ago?
So the past weeks I've been mainly doing like chat drafts, and it's been going pretty well. My average with chat draft over 30 runs is like 6.9. Not the best,
That's
but
really good.
yeah, it has one reason. It's because we played like 5 hunters with a 3-win average. Even though Hunter is like the best class right now. I don't know what happened. It's probably me. It might be chat though.
So wait, so what's chat been drafting? The control hunters, I'm assuming, or
Like all over the place.
okay.
Like I feel like the problem with Hunter is that you need to have something specific in mind. And if somebody wants to do the Merp Hunter, like aggro,
Yeah.
they pick all the aggro class cards. And then somebody wants to play control, they pick control cards. And when you mix both together, I feel like it doesn't work.
So you end up with like 10 2-drops, 5 1-drops, and then 3 8-drops.
Yeah, that's my theory on why it doesn't work.
Yeah, you gotta go one way or the other. But like every way works. You do have to do one of the things. But there's like a number of things that works for Hunter right now. So
yeah.
3 wins. Ooh, for over 5 runs too. That's like a decent sample size. Have you calculated your average without the hunters?
The average without the hunters was we did. I think it was 7.5 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not bad.
Yeah. For chat draft,
we didn't play hunters. It would have been amazing.
That's what was Shady saying? Shady was saying, Shady was having the same kind of issue, but with Rogue, where like chat was drafting rogues in a weird way, and even though at the time Rogue was like still one of the best classes, it just like didn't work.
Yeah, with chat, when you draft with chat, I try to give them a direction. Maybe it is because I'm not really sure on how to draft Hunter, or I didn't know at the time, and so I couldn't give them the leads, Because with Priest, I just know how to draft it, and I know what works, so I can just give them the direction or say what we need in the deck left, and that's why the Priest average that we have was pretty good.
Yeah, so you would you would play Priest on the board or control in this meta?
Very tempo, like on the board.
Very tempo, like 2-drops, lots of 2-drops?
Nah. Okay, I feel like the most important part in Priest right now is the big fours, the 5/6,
the fours.
the one that gives you coins, no, your opponent coins.
Yeah.
And
Soldier of Fortune.
The 4/7. Exactly.
Soldier of Fortune. I don't know what the 4/7's called, but yeah, it's the 4/7, not the 4/7, the 5/6, the 4-mana 5/6 Soldier of Fortune. It's so underbucketed right now.
It's so awesome. And then on Priest, you can draft things like Unsleeping Soul. That is the 4-mana silence, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you copy that minion. I've been drafting this so much because I feel like if you play the Priest like I do, then you have things on the board on turn 4, and then when you have that silence, then you're just so far ahead that you just win the game almost automatically at that point.
Yeah, I've been a victim to that strategy a number of times, where the Priest does that on turn 4, turn 5, and you're like, well, what do? I don't have the board anymore. I'm facing the Priest. I'm not gonna win. Like, this is just like they're gonna outcard advantage me. They're gonna hold the board the entire time.
Yeah, it's just turn 3, turn 4. That's the most important part for Priest.
Okay, so you actually don't have a lot of 2-drops. You establish the board starting on turn 3 with your powerful, like, tempo-based 3-drops, and then reinforce it on turn 4 and go. Okay.
I mean, I pick the 2s when we get the Lackey,
right.
The 2/2.
Okay, the 2/2 Lackey. The 2/2 evil. God, what was it?
Evil Conscriptor.
Conscriptor, yes. My 12-man Priest had like 2 of those too, and I'm just like, this is too good. Okay. What about Hogsteeds? Are you taking the Hogsteed value, or is that too low?
I'm taking the Hogsteeds too. They're insane. My very, very first run in the meta, I remember, like when the new meta came, was a Priest with 8 evil conscriptors. I was like, what the hell is going on? I even posted on Twitter about it. That was so insane. I only went 11 though. It was so fun and insane. I was like, this drafting is broken, but I never got as many again.
That's probably a good thing for the balance of the arena. That you're not out there drafting 8 evil conscriptors every run.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that card's broken. Hogsteed you get good value out of for your 2s, but generally, like outside of like the truly amazing 2s, you're sticking with 3s and going from there, and that's working. Yeah, no, that's good. That's what I've been like way back when the meta first started. That's how Collins told me to draft for Priest, and it's been doing pretty well. So okay, so Priest, what's another highlight in the current meta for you? Priest tier 1, Hunter tier like F, and everybody else somewhere in the middle.
I like playing Shaman. It's pretty fun, even though it's like at 46% right now. I'm like, Shaman is so fun. I want to play it.
But do you get like 11s and 12s with Shaman sometimes?
Today I got 10.
Okay. How? I've been trying Shaman. I don't think I've ever gotten a Shaman over 8 wins.
How?
I
got two fountains.
Oh, okay, that helps. I've never gotten that. That would be a good start.
And one Hagatha scheme.
Scheme.
Both help pretty.
Okay, so are you playing mostly like control then in that case? Like trying to survive opponent stuff and then stabilize?
Yeah, it always depends on the deck. I don't know. I feel like a Shaman is kind of a mess right now.
It's such a mess. I have no idea how to draft, because at some point I get like suckered into a Flame Tongue, and then I'm like, oh, now I need the board, or like a Bloodlust or something, right?
I feel like Flame Tongue doesn't really work right now.
Yeah,
I feel like it's
I've come to that conclusion too. I haven't hit over 8 wins with Shaman, and I keep taking the Flame Tongues. I'm like, oh, it's such a good card.
Maybe we can play Shaman later. Let's see.
That's my list right now. My list right now is I have Shaman, I have Paladin, Warrior, and Warlock for some reason that I haven't gotten 12 in.
Paladin is so boring or not.
Yeah. I like playing Paladin right now. I don't know why I like playing Paladin right now, because I normally don't.
Against Paladins.
I think it's because like there's so much RNG right now in the game. And it's kind of like permeating everywhere, like especially with like mages being very powerful now, right? And conjurers. Like Paladin's kind of a nice like breath of fresh air for me, where I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I know when I'm succeeding, when I'm losing. I know the little nudges that I could do to make, to be a better player or worse player. And after that, just let the higher powers take the wheel. And I don't have to like worry about these kinds of things. But yeah, okay. So Shamans are a high point. Paladins, not so much. Have you had a lot of experience with Warrior? Have you been touching the class at all, or like kind of?
I played, I think, Warrior once.
Okay.
I just saw hsreplay.net,
Yeah.
so they were like barely touching 40% win rate. I was like, come on,
I don't blame you. I played it once until they buffed it, and then I played it twice, and it was like a little better, but still not at the top levels. And yeah, I mean, there's no. I keep hearing things about Warrior though. Like I hear things like, "Oh, Warrior Temple Warrior is actually pretty good," and then I play it, and I'm like, I don't know, am I just not getting the draft right or something? Because it seems kind of mediocre to me.
I feel like people that say that have played maybe like 1 or 2 runs in high rolls. I mean, I don't really see any good warriors when I'm playing arena.
Right.
It always feels like, I mean, if that's 8-0, they're gonna have a busted deck. But most of the times, you're happy to see a warrior, I think.
Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, these days, I'm happy to see anybody that's not a mage. Like, I'm happy to see a hunter. I don't care how powerful you are. At least you're not going to conjurers calling me to death.
I care about mages less than about warlocks. I don't know.
What's annoying about warlocks? The evil genius?
I feel like it's because I play a lot of priest, and warlocks have been making me problems with priest. I feel like against mage, I have more control. I feel like at least.
That's true. Like mages can't get you off the board once you're on. Like they just don't have the tools to deal with a lot of like high health minions.
Yeah.
Which priests have. I guess warlocks can just outcard advantage you eventually if you're not like pounding them to the face.
Exactly.
Uh, okay. All right. Well, so I think that's a good like summary of where the meta is right now. I always throw in my pitch for Druid as the secret number one class in the meta right now.
Oh, you've been playing a lot of Druid?
I
Damn.
haven't been playing a lot. I've been playing as much Druid as I've been playing anything else, and I just don't play a lot. I play like maybe like one run a day on average,
Mm,
and so yeah, and I play all the classes. So you can only imagine how few runs overall, right? Like all the sample sizes are low, but my
okay.
lowest run with Druid has been like 8, and I'm averaging like more than 10, and it always feels pretty easy. Like just token druid,
What?
same strategy. I'm not doing anything fancy. It just kind of works. And this includes decks that have like maybe 3 pieces to a token strategy. And I'm like, oh, it's a busted token draft. And then it goes like 10 wins
Mm.
because it's just like a mid range draft with a little more tokens, right?
I haven't really been playing Druid a lot.
It's this is it's easy. It's one way to draft. There's nothing to it. It's almost paladin like. Like Druid usually is a little complicated because you have so many options. But the card set that's available right now is all like Forest Aid, put a lot of stuff on the board, right? Savage Roar, buff
Mm.
everything. Mark of the Wild, not Mark of the Wild, Mark of the Lotus, or Power of the Wild. Like just buff everything. Like that's your kind of strategy. And then you put some scribes in. You have some Hogsteeds, like all these things that generate these tokens. It just it all kind of comes together. The win rate's still low on HS replay.
Yeah, I just checked. 48%.
Yeah, I mean that's actually a lot higher than it used to be. I was saying Druid was top tier when it was like 43% win rate on HS replay. So now that they buffed it, I think people are getting more comfortable and like trying to play like control druid or like late mid range druid or stuff like a bit less. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's stuff like that I'm like I can't take HS replay for like top level play too
Hmm.
seriously because in
Yeah.
most metas I identify at least one class that's like 5% win rate off from what HS replay
Hmm.
has. And I'm not saying HS replay is wrong, but they're at a 4.5 win rate kind of like level, right?
Yeah. Also, Druid is pretty good against Hunter, right? And there are
Yes.
quite a few. There are quite a few of them right now, so
Mm-hmm.
plays into their favor as well
Yeah, it does have a
I can
very
see that.
favorable matchup against Hunter. That hero power nullifies half the Hunter hero power. Um, although, like, if Hunters are control right now, does that just kind of upends everything that we know about Hunter, right?
All the mug shots.
Yeah, like if they're just gonna out card advantage you, that hero power plays like a much smaller role than it used to. So I don't know. I've definitely had my share of losses to Hunters as Druids, like more so than usual. Usually, it's a pretty good counter.
Mm.
Um, all right, okay. So that's this meta. We're done talking about it. We'll go play a run afterwards and kind of finish the meta off. And we're gonna be in this meta for exactly 1 week and half of a day more. And after that, we are heading into Rise of the Mechs. Remember, we're on a rotational schedule now, where every 2 months Blizzard rotates almost all the sets or all the sets. They haven't really told us their exact rules. But the first rotation is going to happen on the 3rd of June, which is next Monday. So we're going to have one more podcast before then, before everything changes. And everything is going to change. The only set staying, and I don't even know if there's an offering rate bonus, as there has been, but maybe there still is the Rise of Shadows, the current set. What's leaving is MSG. What's leaving is Old Gods. What's leaving is Witchwood. What's leaving is Nax. All of those sets currently in the arena, gone. Instead, what's in is GVG, TGT, Grand Tournament, Karazhan for the small set, and Boomsday. So that's Boomsday plus GVG. Like, I think the way to think about it is not even like what's leaving and what's coming in. It's just like it's a whole new meta. Like, start with your base classic whatever cards and then just add all these new sets.
I think Rise of Shadows stays in as well.
Yes,
Or
Rise
not?
of Shadows stays.
Okay.
Yep, Rise of Shadows stays. And it may still have the offering bonus. Like, it has an offering bonus right now. So I don't know if that's staying or not. But they haven't said
It's gonna
anything.
be insane.
So, yeah. So what are you looking forward to in this new set coming. Like it's going to be a whole new meta. So
Yeah. So I have to say that I haven't really played a lot with these cards that I'm playing because I mainly started playing Arena a lot, like 2 years ago when Ongoro came out.
mhm.
So I've played runs in Arena, but very casually. I haven't really watched streams, so I didn't really know what's good. So I just picked by feeling. And
Did
yeah,
you
after
did you feel that Muster for Battle was good?
I'm not sure. I think I might have thought, hey, only 1 damage on the weapon? No, I don't want that.
Why do one damage? The standard is True Silver. Ah. Okay, great. So so you'll be coming to like GVG and TGT at least like it with like a whole new mindset, right? Like the difference between like a serious player and like a casual player. Whereas Karazhan, like during the Ungoro meta, Karazhan cards were still in there. They haven't rotated out
Yeah.
yet. And Boomsday obviously is a newish kind of set that we're all very familiar with at this point. So like half the cards for you will be kind of like newish. So what are you looking forward
Yeah.
to in those two sets in GVG and TGT?
I remember though playing like 3 mech warpers or something. I have
Mhm.
all the mechs for free and winning games with micro and all the spare parts. And spare parts are gonna be there with lackeys. So I feel like this
Oh
meta
god.
is gonna be insane, insanely tempo.
Oh, you're right. Spare
And
parts
all
are
the
going to be there with
yeah,
lackeys. That's so many random one mana effects.
yeah, and all the mechs with the Boomsday Project's magnetic effects, you know.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like once Boomsday came out, everyone was kind of disappointed by the mechs because I
Mhm.
feel like they weren't really offered. I feel like everyone thought they're gonna be way more impactful than they were. But I feel like now, since there's so many mechs, you just pick every single magnetic, even Bronze Gatekeeper, the 1/5 magnetic
Yeah, I was
boy.
about to bring that up. Bronze Gatekeeper is going to
Yeah,
be amazing.
it's gonna
Like
be so good.
imagine having an actual base of mechs
Yeah.
reliably that you can buff Bronze Gatekeeper onto.
Yeah, I've just been looking at the neutral cards. There's so many mechs, and I feel like it's gonna be so reliable to just hit these
Mhm.
magnetic cards.
Yeah, and they're good mechs, right? You're talking about
Inspiring.
Mech Warper before. Like Piloted Shredder was the
Mm-hmm.
staple 4-drop during that era. And Piloted Shredder was kind of OP back then. It probably isn't OP anymore, but it's still a
Mm-hmm.
mech, and it's still really good. And you're gonna take it and be able to do stuff with it. War Gear. That's the one that I know whenever a War Gear hit on curve magnetic in the
Yeah.
Boomsday meta, I lost. And
Yeah,
that's just going to happen more often. So you have Bronze Gatekeeper, you have War Gear, and they're also both buff, right? Like all the magnetic stuff are buffs. To really take advantage
mm-hmm.
of it, you need to be on the board.
Yeah, I think EMP Operative is gonna be in there too, right? It's in the Boomsday Project cards
Yeah,
or not?
EMP Operative is going to be there, but it's still going to suck. I don't care how many mechs are
Yeah.
there. I can't see it being good. It's 5 mana, like 2/2 or something, right? Like 3/3.
Not sure.
It's just,
5 mana 3/3.
5 mana
Destroy.
3/3. It's too. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be enough mechs for that to actually do something, but well,
I think it's gonna be hard to like keep a card like this in your hand, when it's so tempo.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like you're going to have to like have a consistency of like every other minion in your opponent's deck is a mech
Hmm.
for EMP operative to be worth that. Like it's still 5 mana 3/3, right? Like that's still
That's
not
true.
good. You need to like get rid of your opponent's 3/3 mech at least. Like if you just kill an opponent's mech warper, it's kind of like that was an okay card.
Yeah, Dragon Slayer was just so insane because the stats were good too.
Yeah,
You know,
Dragon Slayer is an on curve card that just happens to slay dragons.
it was so nasty.
I'm glad
If
that card's
the
not coming back yet.
if the imagine the operative was a 5/5.
Right. That's what the 5/6. Why 5/5? Sorry, yeah, 6/5. That would be the equivalent, right? 6/5. Destroy a mech.
Yeah.
No, don't print those cards. Um, so yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of the mechs are coming back. That's going to be very interesting. In addition to like Mech Warper, and then you mentioned Micro Machine. That's the 1/2+1 attack at the start of every turn. So it kind of like grows. And if you can't kill it, it will kill you very very quickly. And that's also a mech. What I'm interested in addition to the mech thing, are like these weird cards that I haven't seen in a while that were good, but maybe not as good as they may be now. So like something like Hobgoblin. Like I was going through all the cards coming in, and I'm like, which ones look interesting? And I found Hobgoblin, and I did not.
Hobgoblin?
Yeah.
What is that again?
So it's an epic card. It's a 3-mana 2/3. Whenever you play a card with one attack, or maybe summon. I forget if it was summon or play. I think it's play. Give it +2/+2. So
that's wait with the lackeys.
yeah, with lackeys. And with like Bronze Gatekeeper, and with like just all the stuff that have like, you know, one attack these days that are actually good. Because back then nothing with one attack was good.
True.
Like you had Annoyotron, right, which had one attack and was good, and that's it. So now so many things with one attack are good and are going to be in your decks. I think even if you're not drafting towards this synergy, you're going to have like 3 cards, maybe 4 cards that have one attack in your deck. Because back in the day, this was like an iffy card. This was like a okay card. You wouldn't like, you know, you would be like kind of okay taking it, but also kind of like, it's just a meme card. Like no one thought it was like overpowered at all.
Yeah.
It's just going to be flat out overpowered now.
Yeah. With all the lackeys, it's going to be nasty. What do you think about North Sea Kraken? Wasn't it supposed to be like a OP card? I'm not sure. Not really sure.
For the time, it was like way better than any large card ever. It was like the only way Blizzard can make a large card like actually do something. And now it's kind of like standard. Like this is just what large cards do.
I've just been looking at it. I feel like, it might not be the best when everything is so tempo.
Yeah,
maybe it comes down to that.
So it was like when it came out in the TGT meta, that was the most tempo meta we've ever had, right? Because it was the same like sets. It was GVG, it was TG, it was like all these sets that you see here, right? Yeah. So, and it was definitely a good card in Arena back then. This, I think it may be a more tempo-based meta than even back in the GVG meta, because like ROS is very tempo heavy. Like we don't think about it that way. Like we tend to think of these new sets as being like, you know, okay tempo or bad tempo. But ROS is actually very tempo heavy, and you have GVG back, and that's your tempo deck. Your TGT is also back. That's your other tempo like heavy large set. So I don't know. Like I think we may be at a place where this could be the fastest tempo meta ever. And if that's the case, maybe North Sea Kraken is a little too slow. Maybe Shovel Fist is a little too slow, right? Because Kraken is basically like Shovel Fist, except you can deal the 4 damage to face, and you can only deal 4 damage, but you don't have to take. You like preemptively already took the damage, right? Onto your body. So like I don't know. It's probably not going to be as good as Shovel Fist.
Yeah. And do you think some classes are going to be at an advantage with the new cards, or?
Any like classes?
Yeah. Do you think something is going to be OP because of the new class cards together?
Okay. So here's one thing that I think is going to be OP, and this is something we haven't talked about yet. But I need to find the list somewhere. So what's happening? We didn't announce this, but what's happening is, in addition to bring all these mech classes or whatever together, they're also buffing Boomsday cards, 2 per class, right? Just like
yeah.
And it's not an arena only thing. It's just like what they're doing. This is just what's happening. Blizzard's making the first ever like large series of buffs to cards that they thought were a little underpowered. And I'm gonna run through this very quickly, but I'm gonna run through this now because this is gonna affect my answer. So first, Gloop Sprayer is going down a mana. Gloop Sprayer was an 8 mana 4/4. Summon a copy of each adjacent minion. And it was a Druid card, and it was fine. Like, it was a good card, you drafted it. Now it's going to be 7 mana, so it's going to be kind of overpowered. Definitely like a premium card now. What was 7 mana 4/4? What would that be? You need like a 4/4 on the board, and you're already good. Or 2/2/2s.
Yeah.
Like, that's all. You have more than that, you all benefit. Okay, Mulch Muncher, the 10 mana 8/8 that costs 1 less for each friendly Treant that died this game, goes down to 9 mana. That's not going to be too arena relevant, but it was always a draftable card, right? So it's just getting better. Necromechanic, 5 mana 3/6. Your Death Rattles triggered twice is now going to be 4 mana. So 4 mana 3/6 is already good. It then has this ridiculous ability. Your Death Rattles triggered twice. That's going to be a premium card. I'm not even going to talk about the legendaries. Here's, I think, underrated buff. I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but Unexpected Returns. It went from 4 mana to 3 mana. And that's a card that's a mage card. It says summon 2 random 2-cost minions, and it gets improved by spell damage.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be super good too.
It's gonna be nuts because you're taking a 4-drop and you're making it into a 3-drop. Like, ignore the spell damage part. Just like,
Yep.
some stats on the board, right? Like, how much stats do you expect to get from 2 random 2-drops? I don't know, like 9. Does that seem? Yeah, like around 9 is what I think you'd get. What's 9 stats? Like, I guess that's what you expect from like 3 mana, but now it's in 2 bodies. It could have abilities. Like, it's definitely going to be an interesting card. Christology Paladin goes from 2 mana to 1 mana. That draws 2 1-attack minions from your deck. So if you have 1-attack minions in your deck, Paladins now have a 1 mana draw 2 card, which is kind of silly, but
do you have that many?
Yeah.
We'll see the new meta.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in the new meta. I mean, it works perfectly with Hobgoblin. Glowstone Technician, sure. 6 mana 3/4. Battlecry, give all minions in your hand +2/+2. The Lightforge was always high on this card. It didn't quite live up to our expectations, but it was still definitely a draftable card. It's now going to be 5 mana, which is going to put it into, I think, like the low premium or the high, like, regular kind of cards. And oh god, there's so many cards. I'm gonna just pause here. I don't want to keep reading all these cards because this next one is the problem card. Extra Arms from Priest.
I was going to say that is so nasty.
It was a 3 mana, give a minion +2/+2, and you get another more arms into your hand. It's basically a twin spell, right? Like, give a minion +2/+2 for 3 mana. And it was fine. We rated it like a 125 or something. It was low premium / high regular. It was a good card. We all liked the design. Everybody only had good things to say about it. They're changing it to 2 mana. Which isn't just a -1 mana, by the way. It's -2 mana. Because you -1 mana on the first Extra Arms. You minus another mana on the twin spell part of it. So it's Blessing of Kings at 4, except you can break it up. And you can, like, bank it. And you could just...
I wonder what bucket it will be in.
They're gonna mess it up. They're gonna keep it in the exact same bucket it used to be in.
I try to be positive this time.
I mean, hopefully everybody knows how ridiculous this is and everybody auto picks it and then they'll move it up, after like the first like week of adjustments, but
yeah.
Like, you're asking me, like, which class do you think is gonna be, like, ridiculous? Like, Priest is gonna be ridiculous. Like, sure, it's losing Talon Priest, Cultist, Dragonfire, but it's gaining Extra Arms. It's gaining Valen's Chosen. It's gaining, like, even better buff cards than it's losing in a board-based aggressive meta. So yeah, I mean, I think it's extra arms. I think it's like hands down extra arms priest. That's what I'm afraid of. That's the class I'm afraid of. That's the strategy I'm afraid of. And if you, I mean, you weren't playing too seriously in the GVG era, but during the
Mhm.
GVG era, like priest was good. Like aggro priest was like a top archetype in the arena, and they didn't have extra arms. They just had Valen's Chosen, and also Dark Cultist. So they don't have Dark Cultist now, but they have extra arms now. So that's just gonna make everything worse.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your pick for most improved class?
Oh, mine was priest too. As soon as I saw extra arms, I was like, damn, this is going to be a problem. Yeah, I also want to see like how Shaman does.
Mm-hmm.
Stormbringer is now down to 6. I mean, Stormbringer was never really a problem in Arena, but you could make things work, and I feel like down to 6 mana is gonna improve a lot of things. But
So
of course, it's a
Stormbringer is the
legendary legendary
spell
spell.
that transforms your minions into random legendary minions.
Yeah. I love these kind of cards. I remember playing like Violet Worm, having the
Oh
board
god.
full of 1/1s, and then using Stormbringer, and then just having lethal that way from like 20 health for
Yeah.
my opponent.
So it's a very good complement to like Bloodlust, right? Because like yeah, it's a legendary card, but it's a legendary spell, so
Mhm.
you're actually going to see it quite frequently when you get
Exactly.
legendaries. And the problem with Shaman was always like for that like token archetype was you had Bloodlust and then you had nothing else. So if you don't get
Hmm.
Bloodlust, it's always a risk. And if you get Bloodlust, it's like a very one-dimensional thing. So even adding a legendary card into the arsenal, it like helps diversify the things you can like do with a really huge board. Um,
Yep.
and yeah,
And
it's
Thunderhead is gonna be buffed too.
yes, Thunderhead is gonna be buff. This is the most unnecessary buff, I think.
It was good already.
Yeah, like who was complaining about Thunderhead needing a buff? Like, was it? Anyway, Thunderhead was a 4 mana 3/5. After you play a card with Overload, summon 2/1/1 Sparks with Rush. It was a really good card. It was rated really high by everybody. They gave it an extra health. So now it's like on curve stat wise and has this ridiculous ability to generate 2/1/1s with Rush if you play a Overload card, which is not like a huge undertaking.
No.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, Shaman's also so they're losing Jade, right? Jades are gone, and that's a big part of Shaman now. They're losing the 4 mana 7/7. They're losing Master of Evolution, so they're definitely losing a bunch of things. But what they are getting, like you're talking about Stormbringer, they're getting a buff Thunderhead. They're getting Elemental Destruction.
I have never really played with that card because I thought at the time it wasn't good.
Oh, you're gonna love this card for Control Shaman, especially because Hagatha's Scheme is still in the game, and it has an offering bonus still. And you pair that with Elemental Destruction, and you finally get back the like Shaman double like board clear thing that was
So
happening
how did
before with
how did
Volcano.
how did it work? Is it like 3 mana? Do you have 5 damage or something? Limited
Yeah,
destruction
yeah,
and
but it
overloaded
overloads
for
for like 5 or something, some like higher number than like what it cost.
yeah. Hmm.
So it's actually like 8 mana, deal 4 to 5 damage to the entire board, which is not very good. But you break it up, and you can do the thing where you clear the board with 3 mana, right? And then you have
Yeah,
like 7 mana or 6 or like whatever to like set up the board again. So you have the initiative going in.
going to be interesting.
Yeah. Paired with Agatha's game, you have a whole different like look to Shaman. And the Storebringer gives it back the other look, right? And the other look is also like your on the board tokeny kind of look, which they're also getting Thunder Bluff Valiant back. And that's the TGT card that has Inspire, and it gives your totems +2 attack.
Oh, that was so fun.
It's a single card bomb that wins you the game. It's quite. It also has like 6 health or something. It's not that easy to remove.
Hmm. I
Um,
remember.
yeah. So shamans are getting a different look. They're losing a lot of things. They're gaining a lot of things. I really don't know where shaman's gonna end up. But I think shaman. I think you're right about like shaman's one of the classes that I'm legitimately excited about playing in this new expansion because I don't think it's going to be overpowered and I don't think it's going to be underpowered. I think it's going to be like just very interesting.
Was Shaman ever at the top?
I don't think so. I can't remember a time when shaman was at the very top. It was traditionally it was like in the very beginning of the game, shaman was like I don't know, like a tier 2 class. And then it kind of like just slowly fell before they got to the micro adjust, and then it was like the same as everyone else. But yeah, and now with the micro adjust, shaman's never gonna be the best class. Because there's so much RNG inherent in the class that your average win rate's always gonna be higher than your like pro win rate. So I don't know. I don't foresee a future in which shaman can be a top tier class for more than like a week before they adjust it down.
It's one of my favorites to play, though.
When they do shaman right, it is so fun to play. When they don't put shaman right, it is the most frustrating class to play.
Wait, is Unstable Evolution in the next rotation?
I don't think Unstable Evolution's in. All the evolution stuff is out.
Aww.
Yeah. Your Ungoro versions of Shaman is not what's happening in this set. This is old school, like pounds you in the face or destroy everything Shaman. This is it's quite like it's very powerful feeling to play as Shaman, a very bullshitty feeling. And at the same time, whenever you lose, it's the same thing. It's like, Shaman did something.
I remember my first ever 12. That was actually with Shaman. And
hey, mine too.
It was Goblin versus Gnomes. I remember because I had the Wind Fury 3, and I had like 3 of them and Flame Tongue Totems. So I just killed my opponent in 2 seconds every time, and I was so happy.
The 3/2 2-mana 3/2 Wind Fury mech.
Genau, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Whirl something. I forget what it was called. Yeah, that's coming back.
Yep.
Yep. Flame Tongue got nerfed, but still, Flame Tongue's still really good. Yep, Zapomatic. Yeah. Yep. Chat is all filling up with the wheeze.
Whee!
I am gonna miss that. That's gonna be the good part, right? I'm not looking forward to a lot of these cards actually coming back from a balance perspective or a strategy perspective, but they're like a lot of these are very iconic Hearthstone cards, I feel.
And Fellweaver.
Fellweaver. Yep, Fellweaver's coming back. That was never a fun card to play or be played against. 5 mana 8/8. Just mills cards when your opponent plays cards. So you have no control over whether you're totally screwed or not, and neither does your opponent.
I remember trying to mill cards for my opponent and I just died.
Yeah. You have to, like, it's like you look at your hand. If you have what it takes to mill your opponent, you're gonna win. If you don't, your opponent just got a free 5 mana 8/8. Like,
yep.
This is yeah, that's and Fellweaver, it's an epic, thank God, but it's also going to be heavily underbucketed.
I think so too.
Yeah, because it's got that Banshee effect. You know what? Maybe it'll be in the very bottom bucket right off the bat. Like, maybe Blizzard will just come in, because they have to predict all these things, right? And maybe they'll just predict, like, no one's going to pick Fellweaver.
I feel like they know it's good.
They know it's good.
Look, it's a 5 mana 8/8.
It's not whether Blizzard knows it's good or not, it's how they predict average players will select cards. So, like, I think they know Fellweaver. They have stats, too, from, like, back then. Like, they know Fellweaver's going to win games. But if they think that no one's going to pick it if you put it next to, like, Yetis, then they're not going to put it there. They're going to put it lower. Or if they put it there, then, like, in a week when they do adjustments to buckets, they're going to move it way down. So I don't know. So maybe it's not going to be as big of a problem as I'm thinking. Speaking of classes that are going to be ridiculous, here's a low-key class that's going to be ridiculous. And I say low key because you're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, oh, it's got a few things, but nothing crazy is going on. And it's mage. I am scared of mage.
Oh, what do they have?
Nothing.
Flame cannon.
They have flame cannon. They have like portal. Like these are like good cards, right? Like you're happy to get them, but they're not like
Yeah.
totally busted cards or anything. I mean, portal was kind of busted when it first came out, but these days it's not that busted. Um, the
Oh, I'm just
yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I'm just looking at the cards for mage. They have Goblin Blast Mage
Yep.
with all the mechs. It's the 4-mana 5/4 that deals 4 damage randomly split amongst all enemies if you control a mech.
And you will control a mech.
Yeah, you will. That is insane.
Yep.
And Snow Chugger is back, the 2/3 that freezes an enemy minion. Yeah, the water elemental and small. This used to be banned, right? From Arena? And I think they brought it back.
I smoked. The Chugger was banned. I think not because it was too powerful, but just because they needed to ban some generally good mage cards. So, like, I think it's fine power level wise, but it is like a powerful 2-drop. So all these, like, okay, so Goblin Blast Mage is legitimately OP in this meta. Like that's a high premium card. But that aside, between Flame Cannon, your Snow Chugger, your Portal, like you get some low premium, some decent cards. Like nothing at the level of like a Valen's Chosen or an Extra Arms, right? And the cards that get buffed for Mage are like Luna's Pocket Galaxy, which went from 7 mana to 5 mana, and no one cared about it before, no one cares about it now. And Unexpected Returns, which is an epic card, and yeah, it got better, but it's not gonna like be like the most ridiculous thing. The real issue with Mage is that it lost nothing. Like, I don't think about it this way because ROS has so many ridiculously good Mage cards, but from the other sets that we have in the arena right now, Mage is getting pretty much nothing.
Oh, they get also Violent Portal.
Which card?
Violence Portal is going to be back too.
Violence Portal is going to be back, yep. And like right now, all the cards that you think of as being really good mage cards outside of like Book of Scepters is they're basic cards, they're classic cards, or they're ROS cards. So mage is gonna just get pure upside in this rotation.
Conjurers is still there. Path of Creation is still there.
Yep.
Khadgar, Khadgar's.
Yeah.
It's true. They all have the OP cards still.
Yeah, because mage OP cards are in basic and classic for the most part. So that doesn't go anywhere. These sets that were in the prior rotation are actually probably the weakest set of mage cards they could have possibly selected. And
so prediction: Priest and Mage are going to be on top.
Priest and Mage are going to be really good. I would say Rogue, but they nerf Rogue so hard. They did that unnecessary second nerf of Rogue in this.
That was so weird. I thought it was a typo. Because they nerfed it already. It was, I think, slightly under 50.
Yep.
And they brought it down to 40.
It was like perfect where it was. It was like really good players are getting mileage out of it, but generally, like for the population, it was probably balanced. I mean, I have to think it's bad data. Like, I have to think that there was like a lot of old decks still getting played, screwing with the data or something. But yeah, I mean, because rogues are getting a lot of good things. Rogues are getting like actually cards that were banned because they were too good, like Goblin Auto Barbers, right? They're getting whatever that card is, Valiant.
Don't know what that is.
Undercity Valiant. It's a 2-mana 3/2 combo, deal 1 damage.
Oh.
Yeah, like just a free damage if you happen to like coin it out or play it like, you know, later on. So yeah, I mean it's not the most ridiculous package, but it's good. Buccaneer, yeah. I'm reading chat right now. Buccaneer's coming back. 1 mana 2/1. It gives +1 attack to any weapon you equip. Just so a lot of too. Like, that's the thing with Rogue. In a tempo-based meta, Rogue has always the best tools to take control of the board in the very beginning and keep your opponent off of it. So you just like ruin half the class's game plans. Like Druid's not going to token out if you control the board. Priest is not going to buff stuff if you control the board.
True.
So that's a good candidate for being a good class. It's just it's so like penalized right now. I don't know where it's going to end up.
I mean, in the end, Blizzard decides what's good with the buckets, right?
I can't believe that they still think buckets don't affect balance. That was so disappointing to read.
They don't think that? What?
No, they specifically said buckets do not affect balance. Micro adjusts affect balance. And I'm just like, what? I mean, yeah, micro adjusts affect balance. I get it. But, like, buckets tell you what's in the meta. Like, of course it affects balance.
Yeah. I just hope this rotation they're gonna do like the balance changes faster, because last time they said, "Hey, we're gonna do changes within like 3 days." It took like 2 weeks of Warlock being like 58%,
Yeah.
and then they nerfed it. Then Rogue was up for 2 weeks on like 58% too, and then we only had like 3 weeks now or whatever,
Yep.
and it kind of balanced meta. I say kind of balanced when Warrior's still at the bottom with like 43%.
Yep. Top balanced, not bottom balanced. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing this rotation. Obviously not arena stuff. I think maybe like one of my other theories is that like they just ran into technical problems where like they did something and then they're like, oh no, we thought we could do it in 3 days, but we can't in a week. And it's like, okay, we'll do the next part. And then the next part, they're like, okay, we should be able to do that in like a week or two after that, right? And then their tech guy's like, oh no, like I didn't know you wanted to do this, or like, you know, some kind of miscommunication that happened before that screwed up all their timelines. It makes no sense for them to make these promises and then just like not do it.
I don't know. I don't really know how these things work with balance changes, but I would imagine if you have the buckets already, wouldn't it be easy to like
it should be a button. It should be you push a button and then you get a person to review the changes that the button push made before like just saying okay, and then you know it would just get done. It should be so simple.
I just feel like we need one arena person at Blizzard. It's gonna be so easy.
Would be nice. They have a big enough like dev team on their like card creation and production side. Like they have a lot of people. There's just no one who's maining arena. So okay. So what are we talking about? Mage, Paladin. Any other cards you're really looking forward to? Like maybe cards that you that you hadn't played with in a competitive way before, or that you just want to see come back?
Oh, I just look forward to playing Shaman and trying to be really aggro.
Oh, I'm gonna hate playing against you. Priest and Shaman. That's like the two worst classes to face up against. It's just so out of your control. It's like if the Shaman or a Priest win, you're like, yup, okay. And if they like don't win, you're like, well, that was easy. It just feels so out of control. Anything else I want to talk about here? Oh, some things if you're just trying to think ahead in the future. Beast Druid is back. All the big beast cards are coming back. Menadre, Warden, Wildwalker, Druid of the Fang. So that's going to be a thing. Medivh's Valet is coming back for Secret Mage. Cloaked Huntress is coming back for Secret Hunter. Druids are going to have hard removals again. Mulch and Recycle are both back. So they Naturalize is still not in because it's Hall of Fame, but Druid, the like hard removal issue is no longer going to be a thing. Not that it matters all that much because there's not that many things in this new meta you need to hard remove. It's kind of like in the current meta, right? There's not that many things to hard remove. But yeah, Paladins are getting a whole crap ton of stuff. I don't even know how to analyze Paladins right now. They're losing Silver Sword, but they're getting stuff like Murloc Knight, which I don't even know what the pool of Murlocs is right now.
Love that card.
Did you just say love that card?
Yeah.
Oh.
It used to be so much fun to. I don't know. I love random effects.
That was so Murloc Knight got like it balanced itself once they released more Murlocs and it stopped like repeating as much. But when it was first released, like in actual TGT, it would summon itself like a quarter of the time or something ridiculous like that, because it was also like a class card and like whatever. And yeah, God, and after it summons itself, it's over. Like you just lose. I think it's I'm really curious what the pool is with Murloc Knights. Like what the pool of Murlocs are now. Because on one hand, we have like larger Murlocs. Like we got a legendary 4/4 Murloc, right? But on the other hand, I don't know. We'll see. I think ultimately Murloc Knight is actually a pretty fair card, despite all the rage over it back in the day. It's one of those like, yeah, it's a paladin, right? Like, yeah, Murloc Knight feels especially bad, but it's no better than like if they Seal of Champions you know, like when they have something on the board. Like you're similarly behind and going to lose. Your goal should just be to keep them off the board in the early game. And Murloc Knight is like a turn 6 play. Okay. So like Paladins are getting random stuff too. Like Argent Lance is coming back, and they still have whatever current 2 damage weapon that they have from ROS. Yeah, Seal of Champs I was talking about, that's coming back. You have your combo of like Cockhammer and also Muster for Battle. All premium cards, all these like small chippy type weapons.
And what is better, Cockhammer or
Cockhammer
Muster?
is better. Cockhammer is definitely better because of the Divine Shield. That effect is just, it adds so much damage. And it's less. Well, I think 4 charges on the weapon is not. I think it's even worse now for Muster for Battle than it used to be, because there's more weapons that compete in that slot. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. All right. What else? Let's drop one more note about Warriors, now that we're talking about how bad Warriors are, how much they haven't buffed it so much. It's Super Collider and Fool's Bane are coming back. Those are 2 ridiculous weapons for Warriors, but they're also losing a whole bunch of stuff. And these early sets, remember this was like the early days of Arena Warriors Matters. So it like there's just not a lot of good warrior cards out there coming in from these sets. And you're gonna have Omega Agents, not Omega Agents. I mean, you're gonna have that too for Warlock, but you're gonna have like Omega Assembly for Warrior, which is gonna be interesting for Mechs. But overall, I think Warrior power levels are gonna be even lower than they are now, so they're gonna need to be buffed up even more.
I think I heard that GVG Warrior was like super aggressive.
Yeah.
Or something, and then it was good.
But that's also a lot because of Death's Bite. And we're taking away Death's Bite here, which is pretty much the Warrior's best card right now, I think. So, I mean, replacing it with Fool's Bane is not bad at all. But Fool's Bane can't be as aggressive, right? It can't go face.
Sure.
And Super Collider can't go face either. So you're in this like different zone. Also back then, you would draft so many. What do you call it? What's that card? The 2/4 that gets like ridiculous and should not exist as a card.
Money Berserker? No.
No. It's something like that.
Money Berserker is the 2/3.
Frothing Berserker. Yeah, that's right. Good job, Cleon Admiral from chat. Yeah, Frothing Berserker. You get a whole lot of that back then. I don't know if you're going to get the same amount now. Maybe you will. But that really allows you to go very aggressive. Yeah. All right. So that's some of the stuff to look forward to. So one thing, and I only bring this up because we don't get a lot of this perspective on the Lightforge. like Merps and I are dudes, and most arena streamers and our guy our like guests are also guys. But there's been some like controversy and like streaming and playing arena or like playing Hearthstone and just streaming in general as a girl is just kind of a different experience. And recently, I know there's some kind of like drama in the Hearthstone Constructed League with Pathrock getting a slot in I think they call it Grandmasters.
Grandmaster.
Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
know so little about the like setup to it. And there's like harassment. There's all sorts of stuff. Like we last talked about this issue on the Lightforge. Like I want to say like 2 years ago, maybe like when Hafu was here. So do you want to like chime in and like you know say some things and enlighten us a little about what the issues that's been happening, because I'm honestly like I'm like half in the dark on this.
Yeah, so Patra has been invited for the Grandmaster, and people have just been having a fit on Twitter, like how she doesn't deserve her spot, and blah blah blah. Now she is in the Grandmaster, and whenever there's a game streamed, everyone in chat is just like, "Hey, you're a woman, go back to the kitchen." If she doesn't misplay, that happens, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, everyone just like
Yeah,
insults her.
and
It's just
it gets
on that mistake gets picked apart, and I've like when a guy does it, it's just like not like that at all.
yeah, it's like a much more exaggerated response than when a
Yeah,
guy does it. Yeah.
I feel like women just have such a problem in esports because also if you're young, right? You don't see yourself represented in the esports scene. Look,
Mm-hmm.
I never really had someone to look up to. I used to play World of Warcraft Arena,
Mm-hmm.
and I looked up to Hafu because I saw her on like Blizzard
Yeah.
playing
She,
Arena
she
like
was a
3v.
competitive WoW player.
Yeah, and I saw her and I was like, whoa, maybe it can be like that. But when I was like in my guild playing PvP myself, everyone was just like, hey, this woman gets carried, you know? She is so bad. She just gets picked up by this team because she is the woman and
Mm-hmm.
people want to get with her. And then you just kind of you just get discouraged from
Yeah.
such young age. I feel like that's a big part on why women are not really there in Hearthstone right now. And if you see yourself, if you like see Pathra playing right now, you're a girl yourself, you try to be competitive, and you see that chat going wild, don't you think you would be discouraged as well? Like if you see your future in the Twitch chat that is coming like onto you, hey woman, you belong into the kitchen. Women cannot be good at Hearthstone. You just have to prove yourself like so much more than men have to, and you have to face all this emotional struggle. Like I can tell you a story.
Oh,
So
go
I've
go
been
ahead, please.
I
I
I
just
could tell you a story.
yeah, tell the story. Again, I'm really interested in these stories because I know, like, when we first started streaming, like, it's me and it's Merbs and there's no women, and it's like we're getting our normal amounts of like Twitch trolls and like whatever, and we have very thick skin, and so we get some
Mhm.
stuff about like being Asian, we get some stuff about like just like how we look or how whatever, and it's just we brush
Yeah.
it off absolutely nothing, and then like we have a co-op with Hafu at like some point. I don't know, we've been streaming for a little less than a year. We're like very excited. Hafu's been like helping us like behind the scenes, just like answering questions about how like streaming works and like how like whatever.
Mhm.
And as soon as like we start the co-op, I was like, oh crap, our mods are not ready to handle this. Like I'm getting like private messages from like people about like just awful like things that we have had other guests before up to that point, right? We've had like Shady, we've had Educated Collins, we've had like other people, like nothing similar to that. So it's like a mix of
Yeah.
like the more well known, the even worse it gets, but also just the fact, like, I would not have thought that just the fact that she's a girl would make the the content of these things like go up so many levels. Like it's a
Yeah.
different ball game here. So what's your crazy story?
So my crazy stories. I'm pretty involved with my community, right? I have like Discord, and we chat there every time, and show our lives a little bit, right? And one day I took a picture of my cactus, right? It was
Yeah,
in
wait,
front of my
you're a
window.
cactus?
Yeah, I
Okay.
love cacti. So
Okay.
I took a picture of a cactus that was a little bit close to my window, and I showed like maybe like 5 centimeters, 5 centimeters of outside the window.
Okay.
What happened? Like 2 hours later, I get a message from a dude that hasn't really talked a lot, but was
Uh
in the community.
huh.
And he zoomed into that window, zoomed onto a building, and he searched that building all over my city,
Oh my
like that
god.
had like similar stones used or whatever.
Uh
He,
huh.
he zoomed into the picture so hard, went onto Google Maps like for like 2 hours, and found that building and tracked me down within like 10 meters. That is
Oh my
like
god, that
stuff
is
that you.
scary.
It is scary. It's insane, and I've been getting like whispers guy for like a month now that just tells me like all awful things, and he makes 10,000 accounts like every day, and I
Oh.
have to ban it every time. It's so nasty, but like these kind of people don't bother me so much, these that don't seem to have a life and come back over and over.
Right.
But what hurts, I can tell you what hurts. So
Mm.
the Twitch rivals thing. I was invited to Twitch Rivals,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah, what
Alba
happened?
was my
I haven't heard
partner.
about the Twitch rival thing. What happened in the Twitch rivals thing?
Yeah, Miss Alba was my partner, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone was kind of talking about it, like who's their partner, Sunglitters, blah blah. And then I went into Miss Alba's stream, and people were like, "Oh, Sunglitters is gonna drag you down," like she sucks. And I feel like I have to prove myself so much more than
Wait, but
any
you're
other arena
you're like
streamer.
a top arena player playing
Yeah, but
arena.
I read these comments over and over, and when
Oh,
I tell these people are like, huh, who says that? But I just read it in other communities
yeah,
where everyone just kind of disregards my opinion and blah blah blah. And these kind of comments hurt much more than like
yeah,
those go back to the kitchen,
right,
and
yeah,
I've been doing well in these arena Twitch rivals things.
yeah.
I had a score 1188 for the
Mm-hmm.
Twitch rivals. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean you did very well. Oh, I forgot who there was like I'm really forgetting these names. But there were like at least two other girls who did like really really well, like scores that were like
Nicolina, yeah.
Nicolena got like the top score or like tied for the top or one of
Hmm.
the two.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean there's like it's crazy to me that like I kind of get it when it's like you're talking about WoW and you're talking about like a perception of getting carried because it's like kind of a team like a team game, and it's harder
Mhm.
for viewers who, especially viewers who like don't know or don't care, to like identify like who's at fault for when something happens or who's contributing like so much more. Like there's ways to do it, but
Yeah.
there's a couple layers there, right? Like that's why like people like the team games, right? So you can always blame your teammates that if like something goes wrong. But when something's like arena, like that's just your score. Like how do you even argue with that? Like if you do well consistently, you are good at this game. And it's not like you're an unknown quantity in arena. You've been streaming like seriously like arena like how long now? Like
Close to 2 years.
close to 2 years. Yeah, like this is not it's not like you're an unknown streamer with no like track record. So that's crazy that people would actually like say that and not be like immediately like shot down and made fun of.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Wow. Yeah. I on the other hand, when I meet with like I do meet up sometimes. I think I did it like once by like special request or whatever. Someone will message me and be like, "Hey, I'm in New York. You want to like like hang out or whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Come here. This is like the thing right below my apartment building." And I
Oh.
always show like views outside my apartment. Like back when I had a very good view of like the entire
Mhm.
Manhattan skyline for the 4th of July, I would literally just point my camera outside my window. And
Oh, I'd never do that.
I live in a very identifiable area. Like it
Yeah.
will not take detective work to know exactly which like roughly which floor, to know exactly which building and roughly which floor and which unit I'm in, like back then. And I just like had no like fear that anyone was going to do that and do anything creepy or whatever to it. It's just, it's a different world, right? Like it's not even a consideration for me. I'm not like
Yeah.
Yes, Twitch chat. I am asking you to step up your game and stalk me more. I'm in Charlotte now. I'm even easier to find. So whenever I turn my camera to show you my view, and I have the view again. I literally I have the view of the entirety of Charlotte Uptown from my like gaming setup.
Damn.
Oh no, I did. I tweeted a picture out already of my whole setup with the background. So get on it, Twitch chat. Tell me my address, Twitch chat. It's really not that hard to figure out. It's actually going to be painfully easy for anybody living in Charlotte to figure out where I live. Okay. So I just thought we would do you think streaming, because I know like Pathra would get, this is like the top of the top, right, when it comes to esports for Hearthstone and Grandmasters. And you get a lot of the creepy side, and you also get some of the comments that belittle your skill, that in ways that the rest of us probably don't experience to that degree. But do you think Arena is like better about this or worse about this than
the Arena community?
The Arena community and just being an Arena streamer. Because on one hand, it is harder to prove yourself. Like you do have to point to like this like nebulous record. Like the leaderboards help a little, but it's not like you can just be like, everybody shut up, I've become like the Hearthstone champion, Like it's not exactly like, you don't have that publicity or that like officialness. On the other hand, it's a smaller community. Maybe we're nicer. Like, I don't know. Well, what have you like seen?
I feel like the streamers are all very nice to me. But I feel like, I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just me. I feel like I get criticized more for my plays. Like backseat gaming. I feel like I get that a bit more than other streamers. And I feel like what can I compare? I feel like if I make a statement about a card, like that's good or that's not good, I feel like it just gets taken less seriously,
right,
than when another streamer says it. So it's quite annoying, and I have to get quite aggressive about it sometimes. So people in chat shut up,
Yeah, you got to stand by your card evaluations.
You really have to be assertive.
Yeah. I have to do the same thing, but not because I'm making a statement about a card. It would be because I'm making a ridiculous statement about a card. So I would be like inviting this, just to get the same level of pushback. Yeah, it would like, I mean, I get my stuff challenged by chat quite a lot also, but I feel like it's usually like, it's almost always like fair. Like in that, like they have some point. It's something maybe I'm not explaining particularly well, or like I know I'm kind of out there on a particular thing and I'm gonna keep defending it, but I don't really expect people to like kind of like get it unless like I repeat the result a number of times. And to have that like up to a different level, like that would be really frustrating to me, because I'm already like, this is like the good level for me. Like if people keep questioning me on stuff, and like challenging me, it would get really frustrating.
Yeah, sometimes I'm afraid I come across as a little bitchy, if I just put the guys in their place.
I
feel like else it just gets worse.
Yeah, no, I agree. You have to get like, you err on the side of bitchy. That's how my approach, at least. Because otherwise, like, you're going to be subject to a double standard anyway, right? Like, might as well own the part of it that, own the authoritative part of it. Yeah, like guys get away way more with being assholes. So, all right. I think we've covered a lot of things pretty well, and I hope you have a better time streaming. If you're watching this on YouTube, you notice that Sunglitters isn't showing her webcam, and she doesn't stream with her webcam anymore. I don't know when this happened, but do you want to like is there like a story behind that, or do you like, is it more like performance based, or is it more like a mix of things?
I don't know. I don't think it has much to do with being a woman in general. I just feel like, or maybe it does. I feel like I always have to recognize, and I feel like it's just based much more on looks than uh, than with guys. You get compliments, of course, much more than guys do. But I feel like it's kind of exhausting to
Whoa,
always to
whoa.
always have
Have you
that.
been on a MERP stream? I have never seen more compliments by dudes than when watching a MERP stream. Just, oh my god. Like, I feel like he works out these days for
Yeah,
Twitch.
love that.
Anyway,
Keep
continue.
it keep it going. Keep it going, Chad.
Oh,
Compliment the guys. I feel like you get this like one extremes. The one extreme. Why I love you. You look so cute. And then you get this other extreme with like wow, you're so fat, you look ugly. And
yeah.
there's nothing. I feel like there's nothing in between that is just
Mm,
like neutral. I feel like my community is pretty good about it. Like but I feel like this is exhausting to be on camera.
yeah.
That's why I just like playing games, like playing
Mhm.
Hearthstone without the focus being on my looks.
Yeah, I mean
I feel like
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's draining for me to be on camera, and like people very rarely comment on how I look unless I comment on how I look first and try to get some opinions.
mm,
I'm in the opposite camp where I'm like, hey, can I get some feedback here? Because I know you guys are honest, and I'm not going to walk around in the street and people are going to comment on this like one way or the other, right? But yeah, and it's exhausting for me to stream with the camera on, and less so without a camera. And I've done both, and Rose has done both.
mhm.
So like to yeah, I could definitely see it. Um, well, good. I'm glad it's not because of too much of the ridiculousness that you're not going on camera. It's
Yeah, but I've been trying to get back into camera because, of course, as a streamer with a camera, you're gonna be much more successful because people just want to see your reactions.
yeah.
It's more personal. But in the past months, I've been just going back a bit on the camera, but now I'm
Mhm. Yeah, I
trying
mean
to get back into it.
it definitely connects you more to your viewers when
Yeah,
you have a camera, and that's what part of what makes it exhausting, right? Like you're
yeah.
constantly aware that whatever the hell you're like making an expression of whatever, or how you're reacting to something or how you look, like that's not just going to be broadcast to the world, but they can clip it and it can be there forever, like if something
Exactly.
happens. So it's a little more like mental energy and like being on. But it does.
Mhm.
I think it when I'm watching streams, it does make a bigger like connection. Even if I'm not looking at their face most of the time.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Well, cool. This is the podcast. We did what? We did current meta. We did Rise of the Mechs. I know we didn't say all the changes. There's so many changes. There's literally like 18 buffs that's happened. I think we covered the important ones. Go on to the Hearthstone blog. It's not even very well like searchable. You have to type like Hearthstone Rise of Mechs. That's what will get you to the buffs. And then yeah, this is Sunglitters again. Do you have any last words that you wanna drop? You can find her on twitch.tv/sunglitters, which is spelled exactly how you think it's spelled. Um, and yeah, anything else you want to add?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have anything else to add, but yeah, you can come to my stream. I stream quite often, uh, and yeah, I'm focusing more on the fun of arena. I feel
Mm,
at the moment.
it's
I try to be educational once in a while. We still try to do leaderboard runs, but yeah, it's more lighthearted.
yeah. And that's, I mean, especially with how Blizzard is doing this. I don't know. I don't know if it's a transition phase or it's just like the early going of this like experiment that should be progressing farther than it has. But it's a little bit of a struggle to take this too competitively in in these unbalanced times. Um,
Yeah, I feel like also the 2 month arena leaderboard just I don't know. It's hard to stay motivated for 2 months straight.
Yeah, tell me about that because like this it affects me like very very little. Like I'm normally not on the leaderboards because I don't do 30 runs. I will be now, and I'm kind of annoyed because I'm going to be very low because it'll just be whatever runs I happen to put together playing all classes. But for someone who's like legitimately like does stuff for leaderboards every month or almost every month, how is this 2 month versus 1 month thing like impacting you?
Yeah, I feel like I bridged like the time with the chat draft, you know. I did that for a few weeks. And now I've been doing on my own account, the 1 month in leaderboard. I
Mm,
don't even know how many runs I have, but for next month I'm just planning to be on the leaderboard on all three servers maybe, and then
nice.
maybe you could keep it kind of fun. But if you just keep playing one account over and over, it just seems like there's something missing.
That's true. I didn't
Uh,
even think about that. But now it is like if especially if you're going to play the same amount of like competitive runs, like you could just do it on different servers, and now everybody who's like really into it can be on all three servers if you want. That's going to be
yeah,
interesting because before
I
there's kind of a
just
time issue, right? Like some people do two servers, but usually most people do one. Pretty much no one did three.
I actually complained on Twitter about like the 2 month leaderboard. I was like, hey Blizzard, why you do this, you know? And some people were like arguing that now they have actually time to get on the leaderboard. I mean, you are I think one of these people that couldn't get enough runs in, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I don't
But
want to. Like, I like the 30 as a barrier, so that every time I do
mm,
get on the leaderboard, I'm like top 15, and it like looks really good. Now, like, I really have no idea what I'm going to be on the leaderboard for this first 2 month period, but it's not going to be
are you
high.
embarrassed? Are you embarrassed to be like under top 100?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I wouldn't be like embarrassed. I wouldn't be like, oh no, that's not me. But I wouldn't like advertise
don't look
it.
at it, chat. Don't look at
It's
it.
like don't look at my 7.2 average, or I don't know what 100 would be. Would it be around 7.2? It's gonna be higher now than it was before because
Do
everybody
you
is on two
actually think
months.
so? I feel like people that didn't really make the leaderboard because of time, I feel like that's I don't know. I feel like they're not good enough.
Oh no, there's plenty of people who are good enough, and they just don't.
You think?
Well,
You think
they may
that
make it like
people
1 month, right? Like out of like four, and just like not do that many runs the rest of the month, the rest of the months, right? Just to like test it, even though they're still getting very high averages. I think there's plenty of
I
those people around.
I have so many people in my chat that don't even play Arena, you know? And they're not gonna play 30 or 2 months either. I feel like
Wow.
there are not many people that don't play 30 runs uh but play like 20 and now can get on the leaderboard. I feel
Yeah.
like that's not that many, and I feel like
Maybe. I don't have a good handle of like how many people average more than like seven like wins per run or whatever it'll take to get on the leaderboard. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think I disproportionately hear about the players who are like really good and just like don't care. Um, but then you also have to add all the people from Europe going to the NA leaderboard, all the people from NA going to the EU
true.
leaderboard. So you're
Yeah, I
like
didn't think about that.
maybe doubling, not quite doubling, like 1.5 times. Like it's gonna be I think it's gonna be significantly higher, like zero point 0.5 higher maybe
True.
even
Yeah.
than it was before. So we'll see. Maybe I won't even make the leaderboard, and that'll solve all my problems.
Same. Shit.
All right. Well, that's it for our podcast. Sunglitters and I are going to play a co-op run of an undetermined class after this. You can catch that on YouTube, uploaded at the same time Arena Coop will be uploaded. Another reminder that next week we should be able to have Merps back to give us his ideas on Rise of the Mechs and the previous meta, and do a formal Arena Coop for the first time in 2 months. So that'll be exciting.
Yay.
Yeah. Until next week, this is ADWCTA.
This is Sunglitters.
Bye, guys.
Bye.